So it was a week ago Monday, in the early evening, I was taking the 66 bus from Beacon Street to Commonwealth Avenue. I was pretty in the front, standing, holding on to the. There's a railing over here, and so we take off from the bus stop, and the driver stops short. What happened?
Oh no.
Yeah, someone passed on the left, then turned to the right in front of us. So I was telling a bus driver that the next day, and he laughed. What? He said, they do that all day, every day. Can you imagine having to put up with that kind of stuff?
No, I can't.
And this is in addition to stuff people putting nickels in the fare box. I mean,
pardon me.
I would probably go ballistic after 3 hours of people putting nickels in the fare box.
That's for sure.
You look like Transit Central.
It's true. I agree. Oh, check.
Look at everyone.
Something I've not yet worked out with this app is the audio routing. I want to take audio from this, but I can't get it.
Good afternoon.
Hey, Ron. Pleasure to see you. Thanks for coming.
Oh, thank
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ronnie Ball. Very nice to meet you. Good to see you. I came from our colleague. Very nice to see you.
I hope this is not the extent of our turnout, because there's we should have like easily another 6 people here, so I'm not sure if something just broke down or whatever. How are you on time? Do we have you for?
I have a little bit of time. We can go beyond.
Okay, what's your cutoff? Like 6?
Yeah.
We'll play it by ear?
Yeah, 6:15. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll play it by ear.
Excellent. I'm still futzing with this live stream, which, if a lot of people can't make it, becomes even more important. Thankfully, I know it's actually on YouTube, so that's good. I just don't know to the quality that I want.
Anything from Trish as to whether we got the rules for the 19th and 26th?
We're finished. No more.
Okay, great, thanks.
Was it the webcam for simulcasting this thing?
Yep. We've been doing that for about 1.5 years.
Where'd you go? CNN, NBC, Fox?
Oh, just YouTube. YouTube live streams. Yeah, actually start with MBTArock.org, and then right in the corner is the live stream.
Sorry, the space for members. I'll see you on. He's a guy who's applied, you know. Wow, that's good. You're not wearing a suit and tie. I know.
I don't know, like, they're not seen you wear a suit.
I have not. See,
This is casual, Craig. You know casual, Craig? It's very casual.
I think casual wear. Then again, I'm wearing shorts, which is all unheard of. But I was working from home today, so I have the luxury.
You guys have me for about 45 minutes.
Cool.
Going to the hockey game.
I can do casual or very formal. Because I have tux. I just want to have a decent suit. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to, go to black tie events all the time, but then I had to go to a detox center. Thank you. I'm here all week. Try the salmon.
Keep coming. You won't see anyone kills for 3 years.
Yeah. How's Linda doing, by the way? I haven't seen her in ages, and last I knew, she was running around really stressed out. And is it getting better for her? I only ask on a personal level because I worry about her.
So Roman Catania, who headed up Keel's customer service, he went back, accepted the job with Keel's back in France.
I've heard that rumor. Yeah.
So Linda's absorbing a lot of movement.
When you go back? Okay.
Yeah. Audie Levy last week sent out an email with his new email address. I mean, Rona he was an asset.
Oh, he was great. Oh, yeah, really.
They don't want, so they don't get, and they don't need the sign sheets.
Not at all. I had a feeling that you get homesick after a point.
Yeah, I mean, when the contract began, a lot of key folks had 3-year, 2-year commitments.
Right.
But Ronan is, he brought a lot of innovation.
Oh, yeah. And then Linda brought the quality and the respect for the experience and the customers. And
Right.
Like I've never seen before.
Sure, well, the experience, right? Being familiar with the property, being familiar with the customer base, and that's very important stuff. It's easier to come in with ideas and thoughts unless you know your audience. And Linda brings that.
That's for sure. Yeah, I think if you measure her experience in time, in typical railroad time of service, I mean, she's into the 30 plus years. Since Vietnam days, right?
She's been doing it forever, so. There's a lot of problems.
Were you under Vietnam for a while, or did you start under Amtrak?
I started with Bay Colony Railroad.
Oh, sweet.
Years and years ago.
That's great.
Yeah, and then, my first foray into coming to Boston, Amtrak was the operator at the time.
Yep.
And,
Yeah, you want to sign there, right?
What's your comment?
Yeah. Is there the?
That's
What's page one, so we comments
That's
one.
my lead, my drug test now. See, already based on what you think it is. Yeah, and, at my physical date time, I think it was 9:30 a.m. And, last minute, I got cold feet, nope. Nope, thank you. Anyway, I didn't want to commute. I'm born and raised a Cape guy, so, the drive to Boston was intimidating, and I stayed where I was, when it was time to decide, hey, what's next for me, going through the process again. Luckily, there were enough new faces where nobody remembered the first time I thought I would. Because this industry is known for that type of stance with hiring, is your shot. But in the end, it all worked out. There's a lot of days where I miss just getting the coffee and on my trips, but.
Where in Cape? Did you go?
I grew up in Nashville. I live in West Boston. So Nashville didn't have a high school at the time, so all the kids had to go to Falmouth High School. So Falmouth and Barnstable, they're the two high school rivals. And I ended up marrying a Barnstable girl. So it's funny that everything's
Romeo and Juliet.
That's great.
Except for the happy ending.
I hope.
Okay, well,
All right, let's, now that we've signed in, let's call the meeting to order. Why don't we go around, introduce ourselves real quick.
Stefan Wunsch, co-chair of the full committee. I guess that's about it, so.
Arkady Goldman-Sorlov, co-chair of the ROC.
Travis Gasky, public member.
you might be some member.
Ryan Golan, Chief Railroad Officer, MBTA.
And thanks for being here, really appreciate it.
I'm glad that we finally got to make it happen.
Yeah,
You know,
thank you.
we talked for, a few times about trying to get in.
Yeah, and let me just say, I especially appreciate it because you gotta make the trek from 45 High or so. Oh no, you're on,
I'm over South Station.
South Station. Oh, okay, in South Station.
Yeah.
Okay, but nonetheless, you made the trek over here on an 80-degree day, and I appreciate it even more because of the weather.
It's okay. No, the weather is certainly interesting right now.
All right, so we traditionally have a brief public comment period at the beginning. Anybody would like to make a public comment?
Pass.
All right. And with that, we will move on to our
Yes.
guest.
She has some comments.
I said it passed.
Yeah, no problem. There's no obligation.
We'll have another public comment period at the end as well.
I'm gonna pull it from Constantine close.
So I don't know if you have anything specific you'd like to talk about.
Well, I think it's been probably a year or so since I last joined you in a meeting, so, yeah, I mean, I could literally go on for hours and hours and hours. I always have a lot to talk about, but, first and foremost, I'd like to thank you for inviting me to come see you folks tonight and talk and discuss all things commuter rail. I would certainly, if you do have any questions, I mean, obviously this is being documented, broadcasted, but, I have no problem with this being a very informal, if there's something in your mind, you have questions, whether it's about the service, equipment, as long as it's railroad related, I can probably help you out,
So, I guess in slightly more specific terms, I have a whole list of more specific questions, but in slightly more specific terms, are there any improvements over the past year that you'd like to highlight, or anything coming up that we should know about?
Yeah, sure. From my point of view, take an opportunity to blow your own horn, basically. Say what's been accomplished and accomplished well.
So let's talk about accomplishments over the last year. So, the last time I met with you folks, we talked a lot about the Worcester line and all the work going on out there. And at the time, we were into rail replacement, rail de-stressing. And since then, we not only have replaced 15 miles of very worn rail, we've completed the de-stressing project, which was in 3 phases. And some history for those who don't understand, when Mass DOT purchased the rail line from CSX Transportation, there were no known heat records, and what that is, for those who don't really understand how it works, the industry standard today is what we call continuous welded rail, and that is essentially one long piece of rail from Worcester to Boston, and points beyond. Now, traditionally railroads were built with what we call stick rail. Think to the movies, the clickety-clack, the rocking back and forth. Served its purpose, manageable, maintenance-wise, it's a lot of effort to maintain jointed rail. Right? Because every time the wheel crosses from one rail to the next, there's an impact. And eventually you start to pound the ties and track structure down to the stone, and that has to be tamped up. So the industry standard since the 50s has been continuous welded rail. It's shifted rail trains, each rail is a quarter mile long, and then it gets laid out and put in track. Now when continuous welded rail gets installed, right, think back to in middle school, physics or science, and you sat there with a paperclip, bent. Well, like anything else, the steel will fatigue over time. So think of expansion and contraction, right? Steel is steel, no matter how we perfect how it's formulated and cast and molded, it's steel. It's going to expand and it's going to contract. And you can only do that so many times. So when we lay welded rail, the temperature when it's laid at and actually anchored to the track structure is vital. Now what that does is tell us what we can expect to safely operate at as temperatures rise up. Rail heats up, rail expands, and then we have to worry about things called sun kinks. Sun kinks.
Okay, that's what
YouTube has a few videos that kind of demonstrate what can happen. Typically, like anything else, rail will find its path of least resistance, which is typically a curve. That rail is going to expand however far it's going to. Typically, when the rail's laid, there are heat brackets. It's very well documented at each mark on the rail what the temperature was right there. And those records are kept for historical data, and that tells you what you have to build your track maintenance program around. When the line was purchased from CSX had no record of that. So our nature, the nature of our business is to move people. So of course this becomes a huge concern. So we think back over the last 5-6 years, these things called heat restrictions were a common thing if you ride the Worcester line. And the fail-safe speed for that has always been 30 miles an hour. Now CSX imposed the same restrictions when they operated the line. What CSX did was issue a blanket speed restriction from one end to the other. That was it. Typical track speed out there is 60 miles an hour, so you double the trip time, you got the speed match. The first things that we started to do was look at the temperature, kind of, and segment the line up. And if it was, 90 degrees in Boston, or, well, we'll switch it up because the ocean's near Boston. If it was 80 degrees in Boston and 90 in Framingham, we knew from Boston to Framingham, there's no concern. So in order to get that neutral temperature, we have to go out and mechanically heat or stretch the rail to a predetermined point. And that varies based on the type of rail, the characteristics of it. So we have to go out and do that. It takes a lot of time. And throughout the course of that project, we removed well over 5 feet of rail. So just to put it in perspective, that rail, when it's heated, it grew 5 feet longer. It's got to go somewhere. So that was removed, and now we have a solid understanding of where we're at. That combined with the rail replacement, the Worcester main line as far as the rail, best shape I can ever recall being. For the last year, we've done 2 major tie jobs on the Worcester main line. Tie plate, rail. The ties are vital, right? The wood ties all over the place. So we've done 2 major passes on that. So we now have a very solid, functional Worcester main line. On top of that, a huge accomplishment last year, we opened Boston Landing Station, which brought about a lot of change for the Worcester line on the Boston end. Traditionally, that area where Boston Landing is, that was always the access point for CSX into the former Beacon Park Yard. Last year, CSX did deals with Harvard University, the rail's gone, Beacon Park Yard is essentially cut off from the rest of the railroad world. That allowed us to eliminate a interlocking at what we call CP4, which is on the west end of Beacon Park Yard. By doing that, we cut down on a lot of delays, and we were able to, for the first time in probably 40 years, have a true double track main line all the way from Boston to Worcester. Historically, for whatever reason, between the location, I spoke about CP4 and CP3, which is right underneath the Comab Bridge, that's always been single track. It just was. Huge bottleneck, huge. With the volume of trains that were operating on that line, trains just kind of had to wait. One goes, the other goes. One goes, the other goes. Now, where that happened at the CP4 and CP3, imagine what happens when there was one switch failure or one signal issue. It created havoc. So we were able to install true double track. Huge accomplishment, something we're very proud of. It's something that operationally has cured so many problems that have plagued that line for years. So that's a huge doing. That coupled with the opening of Boston Landing Station, that was really the catalyst for us to make those improvements in that area.
Are there any ridership numbers from Boston Landing Station? Understanding they're a fraction of the way of the development of that property. Are people using the station? Is there?
I don't have exact numbers, but I can tell you based on my observation, people do use the station. I've talked to a lot of people that use it. They use it to commute out to from Boston. They used to get on the train to Boston. So it certainly.
The really interesting thing about that station is you can see it both ways. You can see folks in that, as you put residential, as the residential component of that area comes online, not that there are people also right now already, but as you build more and more high rises there, you can see people going into downtown from there. But you also see, because there's a lot of jobs there, you see people getting off there.
Absolutely. And it's a beautiful station. It's very appealing to the eye from the bike. You know, and that's really an example of the first true public-private partnership on the commuter rail. You know, working with New Balance Development and those folks, and at the end of the day, we have a beautiful station. You know, since we're talking right in that area, the replacement of the Commonwealth Ave Bridge, which a project of that magnitude and all the planning meetings, and we started planning for this 2 years ago. And I was sort of the odd man out in the room saying, it's not really a big impact to me. The bridge goes over me. The highway folks, the Green Line folks, whatever you need for me to help, please ask. But that was done over 2 weekends, where we did not operate service to Boston. We did utilize the new station at Boston Landing as a turning point for service, operate shuttle buses. There's one more phase next year. As of right now, scheduled for the same time period to address the third span. But you know, that was a project that we certainly planned for the worst and hope for the best, and through the coordination across Mass DOT, this was a real showcase of what you can do when everyone is headed the same direction. So that's something I'm personally very proud of. I mean, we spent many hours and days trying to plan this out.
This should be the new tagline for it. You should write about Mass DOT. Mass DOT, heading in the same direction.
I want to use that.
I had forgotten that the service stopped at Boston Landing during the that weekend of the actual changeover. Was the equipment marooned out, or was it actually brought around like a long way, so to speak?
No, so
like a Freightham secondary coming back up.
Well, for me, it was just a weekend outage.
Yeah.
So I ran regular service Monday through Friday. So the sets that typically put up in Worcester on the weekends, they just originated out of Worcester.
Oh, okay.
Typically on the weekend, all the sets that operate on the Worcester line, they are based out of Boston. But we switched it up for, you know, just to accommodate. It worked out fine.
Yeah. Did you have to truck fuel out to it?
We did deliver fuel out there.
Was that a big pain in the butt, or did that go smoothly?
No, I mean it's very common across the industry to deliver fuel to a locomotive via, you know, the same type of truck that brings, you know, diesel fuel to the gas stations. And,
oh
yeah.
Why do you have sets originated in Boston on weekends?
Because the Worcester facility is typically not staffed on weekends. And just the way the schedule works, there's equipment available in Boston to run the service. So for those sets in Worcester, they get put up Friday night, they don't come back out tonight. Yeah, so that's sort of a snapshot on the Worcester line. Again, just a huge focal point of a lot of good work. And we have a few other things in store that you know, we'll see a tremendous benefit. We're installing currently, if you travel the pike, you'll see some work going on just to the west of Boston Landing Station. We're installing a new crossover location called CP6. That's going to give a lot of flexibility. Right now, between CP3, which is essentially milepost 3 and milepost 11, those are the only locations you have to put trains on different tracks. So we're adding this interlocking in CP6, which is a good midpoint, that gives us greater flexibility, particularly to serve the new stations.
Is that going to be fully marked?
Full, yep.
Oh, okay, good. So it's
Full universal.
Is that going to mitigate the issue with the Auburndale station? Newtonville station.
No, it's not. The Auburndale station is its own problem.
Okay.
Yeah, between Auburndale and West Newton.
Yeah.
Oh, right, that's much further out than
Right.
CP6. Okay.
It's going to mitigate the
Auburndale.
Newton station's problem in general, because they're all outside right now.
Right.
Well, that's great news, though. I mean, so you said
Oh, yeah.
CP6, new interlock.
Yep.
Cool.
So that's is the new interlock to give you flexibility on the greater line, or because you have to have the interlock based on how you rebuild the stations?
No, we like
I'm complaining my issues.
No, yeah, we like to have that type of flexibility every 5 or 6 miles. They place the cross train.
Oh, and you said it was 11 mile.
Well, it's 8 miles.
8 miles, sorry.
with no opportunity to switch tracks. It's never really a big concern because, like I said, between 3 and 4, there was always single track anyway. So you had to get to that point, and you were down on track.
Was between 3 and 4 actually just single track? You just couldn't switch over?
It was just single track.
Okay, so was that initially a second track then?
Yep. Yep. There were some existing yard tracks there. We just moved all that, made new rails and ties. So the whole works. So yeah, that's sort of revolutionized what we're doing with the line.
Oh, I almost forgot to ask about ties. Am I correct that we're done with concrete ties for commuter rail? Like, the whole Old Colony fiasco of concrete is never going to happen again, or are we just going to stick with wood for the
I can't say
foreseeable
it's never
future?
going to happen again.
Okay.
I mean, while we had bad luck with the Old Colony, as was good with concrete ties,
Right.
the Greenbush line has concrete ties, and we've had no issue. You know, Amtrak uses them on the Northeast Corridor. They have no major issues either. So
What's the next problem then with those bad concrete? Don't know.
I have no idea. I had no idea.
Yeah, my recollection was it was bad concrete that the vendor cut some corners. I remember there was some threatened lawsuits.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, it's always when you reintroduce service like the way the Old Colony was turned back on. That was a monumental thing.
Yeah.
Turn back on the Old Colony, and then several years later, it gets hampered by whether it's a manufacturing defect, an installation issue. Nonetheless, it's very bittersweet to have to go through a project like that. But I can say that today, as it sits, the Old Colony remains our strongest performing service area. On-time performance is typically 95% or higher. Now, that's attributed to a lot of issues or a lot of aspects, such as high-level platforms. Right? Go back to the Worcester line.
Old Colony is,
Old Colony is Boston to Middleborough, Lakeville, to Kingston. And the Greenbush line is sort of factored into all of that.
right, 'cause they're on the same trunk, correct?
Right, yeah, right, because if you know how the system's laid out, we're talking about single track constraints. The Braintree area is where the Middleborough Lakeville line, the North Kingston line, and the Greenbush line all kind of converge under one. And it is essentially a single track from Braintree to Boston, with one exception of double track, sort of in the Milton area. But that's it. And during a rush hour, if you stand in the right spot, every 8 minutes you see a train, one direction or the other. So when we talk about operational analysis, when we do see lines that are suffering, typically there is an engineering solution. But, everyone says, well, why can't we double track all the way? Now, the railroad's a funny thing where, particularly in this region, we've been in the same location for so long, things sprout up around us. And we don't really have the ability to double track some areas. If we wanted to, talk to the highway folks and say, hey, can we get a lane on Route 3? Which I don't think they'd be willing to give up. Maybe you do something. Well, the red line was built at a time when the Old Colony wasn't operational, so land as far as railroad goes, it was all available. Red line built up around it. Now we're sort of left with what's left over. And we make it work, and like I said, performance is terrific out there. For a lot of reasons, the signal system, as far as railroad terms, is brand new. It's 20 years old, but it's brand new for the railroad industry. All the stations out there are full-length high-level platforms. So that reduces the time needed for a crew member to open a door, pop a trap, step down. 20, 30 people get on, trap has to be shut, door has to be shut. Now it adds 30, 40 seconds at a station. If you do that over 8 stations, well, now you're in minutes. And that adds up. So that's why as we build new stations, full-length high levels are certainly preferred. While it can't happen everywhere for a multitude of engineering issues, we think about places where there's lane cuts or roads built nearby where you need a certain width, where you have to shift the track to do it, say a 7 platform. The track has to be thrown out, and if the real estate's not available to do that, it's sort of back to options B and C, whatever they may be.
Yes. I know there's an obvious reason why this is impossible, but just tell me, elevated rails? So if you only have one rail, could you build one over it? As opposed to under it,
Yeah, I mean, I think back to when the orange line was elevated and it came down. You know, again, steel is steel, it's got a shelf life.
Yeah, I was just curious.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's like, it's something that, it's kind of the obvious solution to a problem like that, but then usually there are all kinds of issues for why you can't do it. I was just,
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I mean, a lot of the other topics that come up when you talk about that is when you have to return to grade, you know, unlike, you know, there's some very dramatic grades on the red line that I don't know what they are. But,
oh, yeah.
you know,
But then if you're over though, yeah, that's the right guy.
you know, when I look at grades, I mean, they impact, you know, a railroad operation pretty heavily when you look at some of the grade changes that subways can accommodate versus what I can accommodate. Because then I get into wheel slip and all the other things associated, just because of the weights involved.
Yeah.
I don't know what a subway car weighs specifically,
Yeah.
but if I was a betting man, I'd wager that a locomotive weighs a lot more.
Yeah.
So, as far as elevating or grade separating, the distance I would need to return to grade and keep that manageable, I mean,
Yeah, I figured you'd never
I have to
return
go
grade.
miles and miles.
I figured you just would return grade until you got past a single track.
Yeah.
So that you just go over roads, but I don't want to belabor it because I know that it's been, I was just kind of curious, so
No.
just move past that.
If I'm not mistaken, I think the maximum grade anywhere in commuter rail territory is like under 2%. It's like 1.8.
A few spots where it swings, but, I mean, our preference is anything 1% or less.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
You know, you know, there's a few bridge projects that have popped up where they've talked about increasing the roadway clearance. And someone has to absorb that, so they looked at the railroad and said, well, we're gonna increase the approaches and increase the grade. We're very quick to say, you know, that doesn't work for us. We know the problem areas where grades are detrimental to performance, particularly coming into the season that we are, with wheel slip and slippery rail.
That's a great point of transition there, yeah, because that was one of our topics that we wanted to ask about.
Sure.
The slippery rail in the fall.
Let's transition right into it.
Yeah.
I can tell you that working with Keolis, they brought a lot of innovation to how we look at slippery rail, preparing for that. You know, stuff that they've done as regular practice overseas, we've never really grasped until recently, and that's the use of drones to go out and look at foliage, look at very dense areas, and use that to determine where we're going to target our efforts. So there is currently a tree cutting program that answers a few needs. One is to reduce that overgrowth and those trouble spots where we know fallen leaves are an issue. Is everyone familiar with that phenomenon of wheel slip? Some people think that we make it up, and it's not a real thing. Some background on me, I've been a locomotive engineer for the bulk of my 26-year career. It's a real thing. Leaves dry out, follow the rail, trains run over them, you peck it in the leaf, spreads out on the rail, you mix that with a little bit of moisture, whether it's morning condensation or a light drizzle, and it's like a skating rink. So it's very much a real thing. So looking at ways to address that, well, if you remove the leaves, maybe you can help solve the problem. So that program is going on even today as we speak. Second part of that is to address PTC and the needs of our PTC project, which I'll get into certainly. The tree trimming coupled with some other solutions that we found very positive results with are traction gel, which gets applied in strategic areas, it's a gel with a grit in it. That coupled with, you know, every locomotive and control car are equipped with sanders, which are exactly that. They sprinkle sand on the head of the rail to provide for better traction. And that traction is not just starting, but it's also stopping too. So we have a very solid, robust sanding program to ensure that locomotives and control cars are kept topped off. It's part of the daily inspection now. So one issue that we had when the new locomotives came on the property was we found that their tolerance for wheel slip was exceptionally tight. And you know, these locomotives will always try to protect themselves, which makes great sense. So they would detect a slight variation in wheel speeds, and assume the worst, and think, well, the wheels are slipping, or a wheel is locked up, we need to stop, and that was one area where we had to work very closely with the manufacturer to get those tolerances adjusted to accommodate our operation. Commuter rail is a funny thing. It's stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. And it's performance driven. It's not a freight train that goes for several hundred miles without having to stop anywhere. We're in the business of moving people. So that stopping and starting, that's part of our everyday. But we were able to overcome a lot of that, and we saw a 75% plus reduction in delays related to locomotives detecting wheel slip issues and protecting themselves. So that was a huge leap forward over the first fault that these locomotives on the property.
Was that fix all software, some tweaks to hardware? I mean, did you have to reprofile the
Largely software.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I always use the example of going from flying a biplane to a space shuttle.
Yeah.
While the elementary aspect is the same, brake, throttle, or bell, these new locomotives, like I said, they will always try to protect themselves. It's a substantial investment, and the builders recognize that, and we recognize that. So those systems serve a great role. But getting them to work with the type of service we need to deliver, we overcame that. So that's terrific stuff. I mentioned PTC a little bit, so we'll talk about positive train control. Our PTC program right now is very heavily onto the north side. So what's going on is, wayside infrastructure is being installed. Wayside pole line to carry the fiber optic line, which delivers the signal, the actual signal for the system to operate. All that's being installed. The first foray into that was on the eastern route to Rockport. Highly publicized. We did operate shuttle service to still provide service on weekends to that very popular area. Weekend service to the beaches at that time of year was vital. And then Monday through Friday, we were able to build on that with the replacement of the Beverly Drawbridge. If anyone rides on the eastern route, very familiar with Beverly Drawbridge and the fact that being 100 plus years old, one of these days it was going to swing open and it was never going to close again. So we were lucky to have a program in place to replace that bridge, capitalize on the service outage for the railroad, take that time and not just work on the bridge, but keep the PTC project advancing, keep them going. We switched over to the lower line, Hero line. We have work going on the Needham line right now for PTC. We started some work on the Fairmont line for PTC. So that program is progressing along very well. The work is all taking place on the weekend, and there is some service disruption. For the most part, replacement service is available, with a few exceptions. The Needham branch, given its proximity to Boston and its other available modes of transportation, did not get replacement service. Plus, the Needham branch operates on Saturdays only on weekend. It doesn't operate on Mondays. So, that coupled with the other available modes of transit, it just made sense to keep that separate on its own. There you go. Thank you. Very prepared. Yeah. And what this project allows us to become is crazy. The sound of music being good at not running trains. And that's with regards to public outreach, customer awareness. All stuff that
in case the questions come up.
Something as simple as the format and the color scheme to alert our ridership to have paid. You need to pay attention to this. It's going to affect you if you ride this. That was a very collaborative effort. We were able to get the best from Keolis in the room, the best from MBTA in the room, the best from MassDOT even, the communications folks to really get the message out. Last week I was back up in Salem to meet with state rep, senator up there, talk about a few other items in the area, but they were very quick again to congratulate us, which is not a common thing. But the way that we were able to handle that service disruption and really set the bar for how we want to handle any disruption going forward. So that's really good stuff.
I also got to praise you again for the layout and the format of especially the Eastern route, Newport Rockport handouts. I think it was 2 months ago in this committee, I was praising you guys, Keolis and MBTA railroad hubs, for that particular layout, that unfolding sheet that had weekend on one side, weekend on the other side. I thought that was the standard to which the MBTA should be held accountable for future design.
There was a partner in that, though, right? There was
yeah, it was outsourced. It's my understanding that design.
I'm not giving you credit, but you're putting all the credit on.
Well, I'm giving them credit for choosing a company that did a great design job, and we should hold future printed collateral to that same high-level design. I thought it was a really exceptional job, and I thought, I'll say publicly, the team Kill was a phenomenal job of communicating, planning, and executing the shuttle buses for the whole Eastern route. I was really very impressed.
Appreciate it. Yeah, so the PTC project is progressing along. We have equipment going to get retrofitted with the train control systems that we need to operate. So that's great as well.
Actually, quick question to PTC. I was in Salem last weekend, and I saw the new PTC fiber optics above ground, and two things struck me right away. It was first, how small that cable is. Is that cable that we're seeing up there? That's it. That's all that we need. Just this. I know it's fiber optics, and fiber carries a lot of data, but I was really surprised. It's this really tiny little cable. Okay, that's great. But then I was also a little bit concerned because for the first time in areas where there hadn't been above ground cables in decades, now we have above ground cables. So on one hand, I'm a little concerned that we might have trees coming down and snapping lines that are brand new, but then I realized, well, this is PTC. If PTC itself, if the system fails on a certain stretch, if I'm not saying that doesn't mean the trains can't run, it just means they run at restricted speed, like some other kind of a interruption. They still move, they're just slower, right?
So as the PTC, and luckily it's not just us going through this, so across the country,
right.
Every railroad, class 1 freight railroad, commuter rail operator, we're all having the same discussions. How are we going to make this really work? And the Federal Railroad Administration recognizes that there's really no rules in place today to dictate how these systems are going to operate. So that's all, luckily, that's coming out of it as we realize our concerns with what happens if scenario A, how do we still run service? So, the actual operating rules and the training that goes with that, I mean, those are all programs that are being designed today.
Oh, okay.
Right,
so we're still very early on. I guess.
Oh, absolutely.
So is the standard to have above ground cable, or are we?
It really varies. It varies from criteria of property to, there are some situations where going above ground is more straightforward from an engineering standpoint versus going underground. There's some locations where if we were to dig down 6 feet, we're going to be in water. So all of that comes into play.
Yeah, and I just want to make sure we're not, oh, this is how they did it in Southern California. I'm trying to think of a train place that would be in a warm climate that would have, this is how they did it in Southern California, and they have no tree bridges that fall down, so that's not a problem. And here we are, implementing something that with a unique set of issues and challenges up here that would pose an issue for us.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's underground or above ground, there's always going to be a set of what ifs. There's always going to be what ifs. Whether the backhoe working, changing on switch stickers, grabs the wire and pulls it up. So those what ifs are always there, but trying to balance our time schedule to get this project where it has to be, because a day will come where the FRA says this needs to be working, otherwise you're not running service. And we can't jeopardize that.
I can say this, that my knowledge of above ground lines is that they may be a little more exposed, they are exposed. They're a little more vulnerable perhaps, but with the foliage management systems, plus the fact that if it's above ground, it's a hell of a lot quicker to repair it.
It's accessible.
Exactly, yeah, so if the tree does come down on an overhead line, you can get to it right away, there's nothing in your way once the tree's gone.
I mean, the analogy would be underground cables for electricity, right? Like, given the choice, you always go underground. Given an unlimited budget, you always go underground. You always go underground. You can tell me it's easy to repair, but yeah, it's easy to repair because it's easy to get damaged. So it's not really, you're not selling me on that.
So what kind of data you transmitted, how much?
I couldn't tell you exactly, you know, what size the actual data being transmitted is.
No, the other reason I asked is that, so satellite wasn't an option.
Typically with railroad signaling systems, because this is an overlay on your existing signal system, so, the FRA has to approve, those means and methods. Typically, you know, anything that's transmitted through the air, you know, the reliability comes into question, and when we look at overall dependability, right, think about my cell phone dying out on Route 3 on the way home. I know the spots I'm gonna drop calls. I can't drop that call when I'm running service because the train stops.
Right.
You know, so the sort of hardwired approach.
Right, but a combination of satellite and then, you know, local relays. I was just wondering if air was.
They make work for airplanes.
No, it's just that, you know, if we're moving more into a world where, you know, it's wireless and we're just completely dependent on wireless. I was just wondering why that might have been dismissed, because I know that people thought of it, so there's probably a reason why it's dismissed.
Well, so there is a component to PTC that is wireless, and that's the radio side. So if you're in Salem, did you notice the wayside tower between the track? So at every location where there's a switch signal, you'll see one of those poles, and that's where the antenna goes and actually talks to the locomotive. And from those points, that's what's able to actually stop the train. You know, so there's a radio transmission. You know, 20 years from now, could we be going from a wireless system? Maybe.
I'm just curious, you know, so I don't know, maybe we're just kind of curious.
As technology evolves, you know, nothing's ever off the table.
All right, I have a question about equipment maintenance. I know there were some issues with that in the past year, car shortages, all of that. Kind of inspections came up and there weren't enough cars. How's that been?
We're in a very good spot right now. So the particular item that I think you're referring to is we had one where a bunch of 4-year inspections came due all at once. And now the commuter rail to operate needs 420 coaches. And those 420 coaches are subjected to a set of inspections, a federal maintenance program that's set up by the federal government to make sure that this equipment is safe. So what happens is, as, say you order new coaches, right, new road generals. First batch showed up 4 years ago. They all come into service. Well, and what happens at the end of it is they're all due for the same type of maintenance. Now, a 4-year inspection, that car gets lifted up in the air, trucks are rolled up from under it, wheels are taken apart, axles are taken off, brake components are taken apart, and it's sort of one step below a real heavy overhaul. And it takes 2.5 days to get that work done. And
That's it? I thought it was longer than that.
no,
Wow.
2.5 days.
That's impressive.
Now that's 2 shifts. That's
Sure.
You know,
Oh, yeah, still. I thought it was a week plus, so that's great.
Now a bi-level coach is certainly a different animal than a single-level coach. But you know that's the most invasive inspection that has to happen on a coach. And when you have 20 of those all coming due at the same time, that's when we would feel that pain of coach shortages and therefore short seats. Now, what we've tried to do in moving forward is certainly the goal to sort of level load that schedule. So you take all of your assets, right, all 420 coaches, write it down on the wall. Start to build up. I mean, the beauty about a 4-year inspection is I know what to do every 4 years. So I can now stagger that. If that means this one coach comes in a year early, but as long as I level off the loading of that, mission accomplished. So that's what we're doing now, moving out of this. And it's really it's a vicious circle that has been ongoing for 30 years. Ridership certainly perceive that it's up. I can tell you that typically in the summer months, we can noticeably see a reduction in ridership. This summer, we didn't see that. So, as demand and ridership increases, we needed to really focus on switching up how we schedule our maintenance so that we don't end up in that same slump.
During those inspections, is that where you discovered the issue with the wheels on some of these coaches, or is that a different inspection?
No, so a coach gets a daily inspection, right, where things like wheels are looked at, sort of the first layer. We require a 90-day inspection. There's a 180-day inspection. There's a 1 year, a 2 year, and a 4 year. The wheel issue, that's the best way to describe it. Well, as the workforce became more familiar, because Keolis didn't do a substantial amount of new hiring. And like anything else, the more you do something, the better you get at it. And defects that maybe would have gone unnoticed, now eyes are getting trained, people are getting better at what they do. And they called out, this is on the edge of being a defect. Now, of course, you want to bear in mind that we're moving people, so we don't like to gamble with this could become a defect. We don't do that. So, like anything else, and when I talk about wheel slip and things like that, remember that all generates heat. Whether it's a steel wheel and a steel rail spinning around, or dragging down the tracks because the wheel's locked up because the surface is slick, all generates heat. Heat fatigues metal. It just is what it is. So, to switch out a set of wheels on a coach or to turn wheels, which is what we typically do, when you see that sort of thermal cracking, which that's what that was. Very, very, superficial cracking on the actual tread of the wheel. It's caused by heat. So, at the same time, we have two wheel truing machines, which cut that top layer off. And the wheel is like a brake rotor. You can turn it a few times and we have to replace it. Our existing wheel truing machines were approaching 25 years old. They turned a lot of wheels over that time. We were fortunate enough to have the capital project in place to replace both of our wheel truing machines, one at Meadville and one at Boston Energy Terminal. So as that came up, towards the end of this past winter, thinking, well, we'll wait till then so we're out of that slippery rail season. That's when all these other problems started to show up. So we worked with the manufacturer of our wheel truing machines to modify their schedule to try to get some shop throughput. They were great to work with. They actually kept folks on the property for an additional week, just to make sure that the folks who operate these machines are using to their full potential, because the newer equipment, right, computer-based, it's not a manual effort. So the key was to get these folks trained to run these automatically, and the machine does a great job. So that increased throughput, and that's part of how we're able to get past that wheel defect issue.
So is there a maintenance schedule for the wheel truing machines?
So as I talked about building sort of that level loaded, wheel maintenance is nothing that's called out in the Code of Federal Regulations. The CFR will tell you what wheel profile should look like, what is a good wheel versus a bad wheel. But wheel maintenance is something that kind of from property to property, some have a dedicated, very solid wheel maintenance program, some do not.
I'm talking about for the wheel truing machines themselves.
There's a huge maintenance component.
So I'm just hoping that we are not going to end up since you're getting two wheel truing machines at the same time, that we don't end up in a situation where they're both out on maintenance at the same time, and then you have like the issues that come from.
Once they're installed and running, really the maintenance aside from things like greasing.
Okay, so there's no maintenance.
The only other maintenance aspect, the actual cutting heads.
Right.
You have to do what's called index. That happens typically after every cut, where the actual cutting head has to be rotated. What we did do so that downtime wasn't a problem while that was happening. Yeah. Particularly when you have to change out all those heads. Every cutting head, you get 4 cuts, and that's it. Then you have to replace all the heads. But what we did do was buy an extra set of cutting heads So that while one set was being retooled or re-indexed, the other set is right there, you want to replace so that throughput never suffers. Keep it going. And that made the most sense, so you can stay ahead.
One quick follow-up on the whole issue with all the cars having to be, on the main schedule. I mean, the solution that's still obvious, be the stagger things. I'm always interested, in policies and practices that lead to, let's say, less than optimal practice, which is what we had. Why was that the case that it wasn't staggered beforehand and you ended up with? Oh, I hate them.
Came in for my predecessors. But
because like I said, it's just so there's always a good reason for why something happened, if you don't agree with it. So I was just wondering what led to that. So okay, all right,
yeah.
Fine.
Can I take us in a totally different direction on maintenance?
Yeah.
If you were king for the day, you're head of DOT, you're the governor, what would you do with the Fairmont line?
Ooh.
You could add electric trains, you can lower the cost, you can run more service, you can run less service, you could build more stations. But I'm curious, take the politics out of it. As the guy who runs the railroad, what would you do?
So the Fairmont line is a very interesting animal. I'm sure you all know to say something like that. Now, I look at it from an operational benefit to the entire south side. Right, the Fairmont line is my sort of yellow brick road to Reedville, which is where I store the majority of my equipment during the day. So, Reedville is accessible either via the Fairmont line or via the Northeast Corridor. Today it only works if I want to head west out of Reedville to go down towards Providence. I can't come east without going west. Out of Reedville if I wanted to come on the Northeast Corridor. Other issue with utilizing the Northeast Corridor is just train traffic. There's a lot of trains out there. So I store 16 sets of equipment out there during the day, which means there's an additional 32 round trips up and down the Fairmont line today that our equipment moves to and from Boston. You don't need to know the sets get serviced, inspected, brake shoes get replaced, locomotives get fuel, things like that. I've thought about, well, do we just take the Fairmont line and give it over to transit and say,
Yes, I'd like to say.
do a third rail? If I do that, I lose the use of it.
Yeah.
And it's vital to the operation. That access to Reedville is huge.
That's interesting, and that's fine. It's good to have very good Indians and very good people come. I'm one of the people who says, let's make the subway. He's Captain Commuter Rail.
Yeah, so and that's something that probably is not what the public looks at when they look at the Fairmont line. I look at it as that 16 cents of equipment that I need to deliver service. And I have no place else to put it. So when I look at the Fairmont line morphing into a different mode, that's my red flag. Wait a minute, we need to figure this out.
And if you were given another solution somehow, you could work around it. If you go that direction, they need to consider your needs.
Well, there's a lot of options with how you do. So if you remove the Reedville aspect for commuter rail's operational needs, and here was just a rail corridor, several stations. What do you want to do? There's options where I could operate traditional railroad service, shorter sets of equipment, locomotives commute differently to accelerate quicker and to provide that sort of service. I really have to sit back with sort of a blank slate and say, what would we have to do to the infrastructure to accommodate that, based solely on, I don't need this for anything else other than to deliver service on this route. The Fairmont line gained notoriety when the Southwest Corridor was going on, when that project happened, and Amtrak relied on that to get in and out of Boston. Of course now it's not needed by them, so maintaining that for sort of general railroad system, that's a conversation that would have to be had. I know that today, if there is an issue on the Northeast Corridor between Reedville and Boston or Tower 1, I know I have a escape route around if I have to get my trains in. Amtrak, well, there's no cat there, so I'll pull you in if I have to.
Wow, that'd be exciting.
But, well, so when the Shoreline Bridge at Reedville got replaced, that is the bridge that crosses over the northeast corridor, connects the Fairmont line to the Franklin line.
Is that what they just did this summer?
Yep.
I saw my son was very impressed with the size of the crane.
That's massive.
Yeah.
Huge crane. Amtrak did come down the Fairmont line.
Oh.
So they added diesels to their train in New Haven, just the way they used to. And they came into Boston via the Fairmont line.
Huh. What a fact.
We provided pilots, we used our crews to pilot them over the line. But yeah, it's really sort of a flash from the past.
But you, so from your perspective, you'd want to, what I'm hearing is you'd want to keep the commuter available because for your specific needs, it's nice operational habit. But you would be open to, you'd have to think about it, but you'd be open to exploring quicker service with shorter cars if that's the direction that people thought would be helpful.
I'm thinking that no option is off the table.
Okay.
And operational.
It's a very quick answer.
Well, but operationally, my goal when I go home or to bed is that I deliver the best service I could.
Right. It's your job to implement somebody else's, to implement the best service possible.
Yeah,
It's not necessarily
it's important to listen to everyone at the table because, like I said, my example, I'm willing to bet most people don't think of the ancillary needs that I realize to support the rest of the operation.
Are they still going ahead with are they still going ahead with the live station?
Oh, yeah. If you take a ride out there, Cummins Highway, if you take a look down the track, you can see all the footing work going on.
Okay, that is going on right now. Okay, great. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Apologize for leaving.
If you have a few more minutes, I had a request from the internet. You can say about Ring of Steel.
Ring of Steel?
The keelless project to eventually put in fare gates, but for now, put in a lot of people to check tickets and random facts.
I will say that, historically, we've always done the same thing. And, there's a recognized gap in fare collection because while 99% of people are very honest, there's always going to be those folks who try to avoid the system or get around the system. So the sort of Ring of Steel approach is trying to marry the more transit side of the return style. In order to get to the platform, you need to have purchased your fare. And it's new to implement something like that, even in the United States, particularly in this area where our infrastructure, and I'll use the example of South Station, there's 7 ways to get on that platform. How do you control access? And then you add in Amtrak service and their passengers, and when you have 2 trains using the same platform, one's loading, one's unloading, it gets crazy to manage. So, the Ring of Steel is an approach that acts as a really good example of, hey, we've done the same thing for 30 years. What can we do differently? And like anything else, there's going to be tweaks, there's going to be adjustments, and the ultimate destiny of it, who knows? But it's an outside-the-box idea to make sure that all the revenue, or as much as can possibly be collected, is collected.
So, can I ask a follow-up on that? Because as you probably know, I was a participant in one of the focus groups on that. And in that group, it was amazing how little concern there was about the fare evasion. There were like 10 people in that focus group. And as I recall, there was only one person that it was a big issue. Most of the others they were not confident about the extent of the problem, and to the extent that they were behind the number that was given, which was like 20, 30 million, they thought that was tiny with respect to what the system needed. So they were not at all in favor of risking causing passengers trips to be either the time to be extended or that they would miss a trip to collect that revenue. So I'm curious about the other folks, because there's been Was the ratio about the same?
I didn't attend the focus group.
Okay, I thought you were there, that's why I asked.
No,
Yeah,
I was not.
Okay, all right, so I misunderstood that.
But I did get
The
briefed on,
yeah.
what was sort of the general feedback, and, I think my observation is it's not sort of a 1 in 10, it's probably more than 30–40% who pay their fare and don't have an issue with everyone being expected to pay their fare.
Yeah.
I think the bigger issue, and this is my opinion, but anytime you try to change a process or human behavior, when you're down to someone, hey, I got 8 minutes to get to my train and that's how I'm getting home. When you throw anything new into that, whether it's something, hey, here's a free cup of coffee, you're going to have people who go, I don't want that, just get to my train. So again, do I think it's the perfect solution? Nothing's ever perfect out of the gate. There's always going to be some adjustments, always. And this is no different.
Out of the gate, yeah. I've got 5 after, so I think, unless there's anything else pressing, I'm gonna throw one more topic into the mix, which we haven't asked about yet. Everybody pretty comfortable getting questions in? Any other things we left out entirely? We said we wanted to ask.
Well, it depends what you're gonna ask, so.
Okay, I am dying to know if there's any results coming back yet from the passenger counting car, the electronic video analysis set, because I've been on that set and I've actually talked to one of the engineers from M-Things when it was first being rolled out, so I know the whole nuts and bolts of all the technology, and I did a deep dive with that guy when I talked to him. So I'm really hopeful that we're going to get high 90s of accuracy. Anything you can tell us yet? And if you can't, if it's too early, that's fine.
It's still very much in a testing phase, but I can tell you with confidence that the results are probably better than we ever expected.
That's excellent.
This is a complete game changer.
Yeah.
Right now there's 11 coaches that are equipped with this. We have plans to implement that across another 30.
All right.
So the idea is to be able to get accurate station by station boardings and lightings, not just on an annual basis, but I'd like to even more every quarter. I know how many people are using which station.
Yeah. 11 now. I thought there was only one full set, like 6. So does that mean is there 2 full consists that are all good with counting?
11 was sort of the in between of can I operate an 8-car set?
Oh, I gotcha.
Because the system, while it's based per car, if I have a consist of 8 cars and I have 1 car that's not equipped, the whole thing is really blown out of the water.
So the goal was to have at least a full 8, and then with enough spare coaches to be able to.
The goal was to have a 6-car set and a 5-car set.
Okay.
So.
And then another 30 coming. And what time frame? Any guesses on that?
I don't know the time frame yet.
Okay.
It's a lot of it's still being lined up as far as funding and then things like where we're going to do the work. So there's some logistics that have to be worked out. But I can tell you that the data that we've received, we've gone out and M-Things has been great to work with as far as validating and sort of building the back office set, so I can look at a spreadsheet and see 15 people got on at South Weymouth, 3 people got off. The train left at this time. So it's a tool that is going to morph us well into the future. And we've got inquiries from other commuter rail operators, Metro, Metro North, all just kind of heard, hey, you're doing this. Well, we've been trying to figure out how to do this for years. Because the only other alternative is you send someone out to every station. You count every person getting on and person getting off. And it's subjective, ridership on a Friday in the summer, well, some people may elect to take Fridays off. So you don't really get a clear shot. The idea is that, 4 times a year, we can get a snapshot of what the ridership looks like. And as time goes on, we just build that database and have a real baseline to compare against when we look at things like what's the best time of year to shut down the line for a bridge replacement. What's the best time of year to do this, do that. So, what stations see the most ridership. So the idea is having that data as fresh as, a quarter of a year old. That's huge.
Well,
say, are you able to determine individual ODX data? And
You know, ODX.
It's when you onboard and get off board. So if you get the origin destination. Yeah, so like when a person gets on, when they get off.
Origin destination transfer, I think, isn't that? Isn't the extra transfer?
Whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
So I can tell you this, I'm certainly not as tech savvy as you are.
No, I'm sure you are, but anyways, I mean, so what we're trying to do is determine when a person gets on, gets off.
Right.
I want to do with short areas.
So I have seen what the camera really looks at, and I equate it to like sort of what a bee or a fly sees. Everything's very pixelated. You can kind of tell a shape, but you really can't tell much more than that.
I see. Okay.
But I was explaining that the system recognizes features and contours, and it can tell this person didn't, or this person passed this camera, and the next car would pass it. I recognize you. You didn't get out the train. You just went from car to car.
Also, it can then track individuals.
Oh yeah.
Oh, good. So that way you can determine whether or not any people are short variant potentially, because I mean that's the issue with.
And you can scroll down, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I thought I presented that in the previous meeting. Yeah, if you want to go into a deeper dive, because like I said, I was talking to the things engineer at length when to go down. So we can cover that in subcommittee if you want.
Very cool. Thanks.
But I'll pivot to the whole idea of getting more robust data and closer to accurate into again, I always like to say when we have I guess let us know how we can help. We're here because we want to be involved. All of us are volunteers. If there's a way that you think that you can leverage us, our expertise, our time, our data analysis, because a whole bunch of us are math and stats and data geeks. Let us know if we can help, particularly with the data. I know half of us would love to see some of that count data and just to look at it and see what we come up with. Maybe we can feed back something to you that would be useful. So again, if we can help with anything, big picture, small picture, let us know.
Awesome. Thank you.
But I've got 10 after. Well, I want to be respectful of your time. So unless there's anything else pressing, then I guess.
Sure.
We'll let you get out of here.
I'll just say that thank you very much for the invitation. As I said, I'm happy we finally were able to
Yes, thank you very much.
to link up and make this happen. I'll just close by saying that the MBTA railroad operations, while we rely on Keolis to deliver service, we are 110% committed to ensuring that the best service gets delivered, utilizing all the assets owned by the Commonwealth, whether it's track, right-of-way, signals, coaches, locomotives. My day starts when the first wheel starts and it ends when the last wheel stops. So rest assured that we are doing the very best that we can to deliver service. When you love what you do, you stay motivated to keep doing it. So I appreciate the feedback tonight. I think, well, I know Steph, you have my information, but if anyone does see anything, have any feedback, like my email address up on the board, or if you can.
Well, share it. Yeah, I mean, I was always figuring that we filter it through the co-chairs. That way, you're not getting hammered by a whole bunch of
That's
people.
perfect. Yes. If there are any questions, concerns, get them over to me.
Yep.
And I'll do my very best to address.
Absolutely.
We'll say hi, Dan, for us.
I will.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Good to see you.
Yeah. Say hi to Linda. And also, Jody. Thanks, Jody, for us too.
Well, absolutely.
Have a great night. See you later.
Thank you.
All right. Next on the agenda, approval of minutes. So, I've sent out the July minutes a while ago and the August minutes earlier today. I don't know if we want to approve both of those. Thoughts? Anyone?
I'll make a motion to approve minutes.
I'll second.
All right. Anyone against approving the minutes?
I guess.
Okay, minutes approved. And next is the subcommittee reports. Finance and Capital Subcommittee.
Yeah, this will be a short one. We'll just have one on count. And I think it was 27 follow up on the pay-go issue, because apparently, the T gets this pay-go fund, I forget how much is in it, and it hasn't all been spent. And at least the last year, he said it'd be good for us to stay on top of that, to try to make sure that it's spent. And so he gave me some suggestions as to how to do that, and so I'll follow up on that and give subcommittee group more details. Yes?
Sorry, PAYGO, is that an acronym?
No, it's not an acronym.
What is it?
I'm not going to answer that now, because I don't think I answered completely accurately enough.
Okay. I'll Google it. How do you spell
PAY-GO.
it? Oh, yeah, that was literally like the word pay and the word go.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was something.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not a European to me. PAYGO.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, I mean, I said it like that. I didn't say,
Okay.
I'm sorry about that.
No, okay. PAY, go.
Yeah, I forget exactly what it came from. I mean, at one point, I convinced you in a way that was very confident.
That's why we have Google.
Yeah, but essentially, he suggested we stay on top of it, and he gave me some advice as to how to do that. So I'll do that. And let's see. I was also trying to follow up on the design and construction capital delivery process. At the time of the meeting, I had not been in touch with Victor Rivas, but since then I have, and he's given me some contacts to reach out to, on that issue. So I'm going to reach out to them. If I can't get them for the next meeting, then maybe the meeting after that. We talked about whether or not to do a letter to support the Farley Bouvier, Senator Lewis and Representative Farley Bouvier legislation. We agreed to do that. I wrote the letter. It's been delivered, and it was delivered to all of the members of the Joint Transportation, Joint Committee on Transportation, and I also gave it to the governor, the lieutenant governor, and the speaker, and the president, and my rep and state senator. There's a quick review of the slides from FMCB. At that time, there weren't, I think there was maybe just one meeting, and there's nothing that sticks out right now about what we covered in those, so I won't really say anything more about those slide decks. Since then, I know there's been 3 meetings. Was there a meeting today? Was there a meeting, FMCB meeting today? I know there's supposed to be.
Yesterday.
Yes, I mean, sorry, yesterday. There was? Yeah. I mean, I know the decks weren't out from the 18th meeting as of late last week. And they're out from the 11th or so. I didn't see anything from the 18th, so I'll check. We may have a bunch of slide decks to cover in the next meeting. I know as of in the 11th and 18th, they did not go over, or this wasn't on the agenda to talk about doing what we do here with streaming meetings. I don't know, was it on the agenda today or yesterday?
There was discussion about it during the agenda item, and there was a little bit of pointed discussion. One side of this was it's complicated because of public record laws and figuring out what we have to keep.
Yeah.
That was one side of it. We need to go slow and cautious.
Yeah.
The other side of it was the gaming commission's been doing this for years. Let's just do what they do.
Yeah. What is it they do?
I don't know.
Okay, because I mean, the MPO does. I mean, they don't stream it, but the MPO certainly has more transparency into their meetings, than MCB does. And by that, I mean that when there is a discussion about a presentation in the minutes, you get a detailed readout of that discussion, being as opposed to there was a discussion, which is useless, being just useless.
Yeah, as far as I read, some of the board members are getting a little frustrated by the lack of urgency to bring streaming.
Yeah,
Like I said, we're not in context, and the slides that are posted online, they're all say draft for discussion only, so you don't even know if that's the final presentation.
I mean, like I said, for the MPO, they tell you what the discussion was. And they provide an audio recording of it. And an index audio recording of it. And so there is a state mechanism for doing that, and so they should just do that, and that's, and that's just the step one, as far as I'm concerned. Another step is like, you give us the data on which these slide decks or composed conclusions, so that we can do our own analysis, because it's like, coming from a science background, you don't just accept someone's analysis because they could have done it incorrectly. This is the whole peer review process about, well, they're not going to get a peer review because it's not the nature of the mechanism of the entity, but make it available to us so that we can make sure that, you know, you did the analysis right, you know.
To paraphrase a famous saying from someone, PowerPoint is where data go to die.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I heard that, but I like it. Yeah. So that's all for me. Yeah, okay, and yeah, I'll talk about other stuff in business, other businesses, whatever.
All right. Marketing and Communications Subcommittee.
Yep, so Rob Guptill wasn't able to join us this month, so we did have just Jonathan, which is always a treat because you can learn more in 2 hours than you can in 20 hours of computer reading. So I think I'll break it down. We talked a lot about red and orange line, among other things, but these were the main things we discussed. First being, he kind of reminded us of the additional cars that will be purchased as part of the new red line cars. There'll be 34 extra cars, and Jeff Gondel was quoted as saying that we'd be able to get down to 3 minute headways during the peak on the red line when these new cars are brought online by 2020. One thing Jonathan did note to us is that, you know, we could have the best signals and the best cars. There's still some physical constraints on the line, specifically Harvard curve. There's speed restrictions, so we only have so many trains through that portion of the track, regardless of the equipment we have. He also mentioned that the team will be constructing brand new test tracks for both the red and the orange line cars. So in the past, when new cars were purchased over the years, they were tested on the existing tracks, but the team decided to go ahead with actually constructing brand new tracks just for the purposes of testing these vehicles. We kind of discussed the, you know, high-level cost-benefit analysis that you install these brand new tracks. There's a higher cost associated with that, but then, you know, you can rule out some variables when testing the equipment, knowing that there's a unlikelihood that if any issues do arise with using tracks, it would be to the test vehicles themselves. In terms of location, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but you said that the orange line test track will be north of Sullivan, in that area where you have the 3 existing tracks. And then for the red line, it will be south, when I get down towards Quincy. It's about track 61. I didn't write it down in my notes, but.
I'm not sure about the line.
Yeah, so from my understanding is that it's going to be track 61, which is the freight spur to the South Boston waterfront, and they're going to repurpose a section of that for a red line test track connected up to the red line. So that's a somewhat major project just to build the test track.
Yeah, it's for anyone, I didn't know this, but back to the orange line test track. The 3 tracks exist north of North Station because the plan when the new orange line was being run out to Oak Grove was actually extended out to Reading, and then you'd have a 3rd track for express running from Reading to North Station. When the orange line wasn't extended to Reading, you know, you just have a commuter rail option from Reading to North Station, so they never ended up running express service on that 3rd track, which is why that track is available today. We did just get updated from Ryan on the passenger counting on the commuter rail. Jonathan, when we talked to him, he thought that the tracking software equipment was only installed on 1 set of coaches. Apparently that's up to 11 coaches now. But yeah, like Ryan mentioned, it would be great to have that installed on the 8-car coach to try to get tracking during the high peaks. So like, you think of the Worcester line when I think it's So that's all I really got. Craig and I will try to work to getting a guest for the next meeting for next month.
Just point to add about the orange line, going by it on the Eastern Rear Rail, I was really surprised to see that it was being completely ripped up. Apparently, I guess the ties were in bad enough shape that they needed to redo everything. I'm still not sure if they're replacing all the rails. The rails have just been sort of pushed to the side the right way, so maybe they're going to use the same steel. But it's a complete gut job as far as track goes. I was very impressed about that. Oh, and just a quick note. It doesn't go as far as North Station. It only goes from Community College. The tunnel under the Charles is only one track in each direction.
Gotcha.
Just my opinion.
Yeah.
All right. Next on the agenda, old business, new business.
I attended the RTAC meeting, and Scott Hamlin was there. He was talking about the beginning of the study on North-South Rail Link, and so I don't know if he's actually going to be in charge. He's hiring someone, to be in charge for that. And so everything at this point is very preliminary, and I'm really going to, my take is that they will investigate the changes in potential costs based on new drilling techniques, and they'll look at 2-rail versus 4-rail scenarios, and but I think they're going to try to wrap that thing up in 6-9 months. So there will be public meetings. I think the first one is going to be in late October, and so I don't know if they're supposed to have a website dedicated to it, and I'm not sure the name would be, but probably something like North-South Rail Link. Maybe plug that into search engine. You should probably come up with something. If I get any information on it, I'll send it to the group.
Yeah, would that be a separate website from the website that has been run by Peter Zook and Mike Dukakis and where, I mean, this is an existing North-South Rail Link website. Is this going to supplement that or an additional one that's put out by the agency?
I would imagine it's going to be different. Otherwise, I think Scott would have said, we are going to, add information to this existing kids. Because to me, it was very clear that there was another website coming. It wasn't ready at that time, but at this point, 2 weeks later, I suspect it's up and running.
That's great.
So that was that. This was been the 3rd meeting that we attended, so I'm waiting on their end to see when they want us to formally join. And I know that they have, at least on some level, stated that we're part of it because that was part of the Title VI study, or not Title VI, Title VI report or something that we're now part of it. So on some level we're there, but I'm not sitting at the table at this point. But the way they run their meetings, which is kind of an interesting way, and maybe I'll bring that up in the business sooner or later, is that they will allow people who aren't part of the table to ask questions after people at the table have asked questions. So it's something we can think about and leave that up to the co-chairs. I mean, one of the reasons we haven't done that was just to kind of keep things a little bit controlled in case we have some out of control. Because we have had problems in the past, and so, but it would be at the discretion of the co-chairs. So if co-chairs said they don't want to, but I'm getting off the topic, but it's just something from that meeting, that format that I like. So that was it. Particular interest from that meeting, I can give you a brief rundown of the meeting.
Just to go back to the North-South Rail Link meeting at RTAC meeting, did they mention whether the number of stations was in play, or was it just the number of tracks?
No, I think everything's in play.
Okay.
So yeah, and knowing Scott, even if Scott's not running it, Scott's going to be over it, and so that guy's very thorough. So I was really happy, to see him walk into the room, be this person, that is involved in it, and so because he's, and we can reach out to him anytime we want. He's very receptive, and so I will try to remember I can see it to the website, or at night, I'm going to make a note of it. If I do, and I see it, I'll pass it along. And like, more software link or something, I'm sure. Give you something. Anything else? Any other questions on that? Alright, so the other meeting I attended was the autonomous vehicle working group, NASA autonomous vehicle working group, and this one was dedicated to public comments. And other public comments, the first 5, it was divided into business and then groups, like advocacy groups, or organizations, not business organizations. So the first was Optimus Ride. This is an interesting group. I mean, I had heard about the company. I heard about them, I looked into them and reached out to them, but never heard anything back from them. Because what they're really focused on is that last mile connection to the public transit. And so they want to deploy AVs to serve that purpose, which meshes very well with what we want. You know, I mean, they're very much into transit and want the AVs to work with transit as opposed to becoming an alternative means of just getting around the whole transportation network. And so I talked to one of the people from the company again, gave him my email address. But what's interesting about that company, when you go to the website, there's really no way, to contact them, which is kind of odd. I mean, it's just, I won't say it's sketchy, but there's just something about it that kind of rubs me the wrong way. It's like, well, I mean, why do you have a website? If you shoot your information, but okay, well, fine. But if someone wants to contact you, why do you make it so hard to do it? But anyways, if they don't get back to me, I'm going to toss their name, to the folks in Arlington who are running this autonomous vehicle forum, and ask them to see if they can get them to the show, because they are so much what we want, that despite the frustration in getting in touch with them, kind of want to get in touch with them and say, we support what you do, and let's see what we can do to make that work. The other companies were Audi, Toyota, GM, Tesla, and for the most part, they were trying to make sure that the regulations weren't too onerous on the testing. So they weren't so much anti-regulation, meaning of the nature of the vehicle itself, but they really wanted the ability to test their vehicles in more situations. Because right now they're all kind of pendant to the seaport area, and some are pendant more than others. I think only Economy and maybe one other company have the ability to get outside of a small section and kind of roam all around the seaport area. And so I think they really, and also their autonomy, I think, is also running day and night in all kinds of weather. And so they just want the ability to test beyond that, so that they get more real world experience. Yeah, that's a good point. Toyota and GM were getting more into, not regulating the nature of the vehicles, but they were kind of tiptoeing around that. And there was also Self-Driving Coalition for Safer Streets, City of Boston, and Massport apparently has their own AV working group. There was MIT H Lab, and yeah, I'm just kind of running down who presented. And MAPC, Metropolitan, the organization that Alison Felix was, I should say it so I get used to saying it, Metropolitan Area Planning Council. Because I always, it's like, they have Massachusetts to C, committee, whatever. Mass Robotics, CLF, and Power Hydrant for charging them in Zipcar. Those are ones.
Sorry, what's that? The power hydrant?
Power Hydrant, all one word.
Power hydrant.
Power Hydrant, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Pay bill that new power hydrant. So it was overall good because they had a lot of people. They took up all the time, and I didn't say anything. I just handed the letter in, and that was it. And to see Darren, Aaron, and he says I didn't. So that's it.
Yeah, powerhydrant.com for what it's worth. That's really fascinating.
There's one guy who's really concerned about the security of the system.
How so?
Well, because there are so many access points being that he feels can be capped, and I think he makes an interesting argument, and so I can give you his name. I didn't see it just now. Jeff Patterson or something like that. So that's that. Jeffrey Patterson. There may have been another speaker, but I was talking there at the time.
All right.
So next one's going to be on November 14th.
I've got a point of new business.
Okay.
Just within the last hour or two, I was invited by Dave Barker, the head of the real-time data group at the MBTA, to take a sneak peek at the version 3 of the real-time data API, which is close to release, not officially released yet, but he invited me to get on board early. I haven't done so yet, but I literally got the invite email from him literally within the last couple of hours. But I wanted to mention that to you guys tonight, that I think it's notable that for all the good that has come out of the real-time data initiative and all of the, if you don't know the acronym API, application programming interface, it's basically a way for software to go and grab data from some other piece of software with a very defined set of interfaces. So basically, it's like a language. It's like a language between two different pieces of software. We call it an API. The real-time data API has been in a version 2 for several years. I want to say even maybe 5 or 6 years, I think. Fairly good. You've seen all the results, all the apps that are available, and the real-time countdown signs themselves use the API. This website, MBTA website, all the real-time stuff. But there are some notable limitations to it, which the MBTA real-time data folks have been working on, and they're, again, now about to be rolling out this version 3.
Do you know if that's soon to be rolled out, or within a year, or?
Oh, I'd say within, I can't say for sure because it's not public yet, but it sounded from Dave's tone in the email he sent me that weeks away.
So you're probably not going to be sleeping much as you dive into that.
What's that word again? Sleeping?
Yeah.
I've heard of that. I gotta go find what that is.
Tweet out will be fine.
Yeah.
Having looked at this previously for 2.0, do you know what was lacking there that is looking to be remedied in this next phase? Or?
Actually, it all came up because I wrote to them about one of the downsides, one of the shortcomings of the version 2. So yeah, I can firsthand say that to get information about schedules of trips and schedules of trains at the same time as getting information about when that particular train or trip is predicted to be at a certain stop is not really possible. You've got to make multiple calls to the API and kind of aggregate the data yourself if you want to get the schedule and the predictions. And that's a notable thing that apparently they've reworked so that you can make a single grab and get back when was it supposed to be here, or when is it going to be here tomorrow, and what are the predictions. So that's going to be a big win because it'll cut down the amount of programming that somebody has to do instead of making multiple calls and trying to pile it all together yourself. You'll just be able to make one call and slip it all in at once. Plus, it'll cut down on the overhead of the MBTA system, so there should be some efficiencies to this new API, probably make it a little cheaper for them to run. So I'm thinking that maybe January we might want to have in Dave Barker again, or David Block-Schechter. The other sort of corollary to this about electronic improvements, I'm assuming you've all seen the MBTA website is continuing to march along with the new version.
It's just now hard to get to FMCV stuff.
You think harder?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, it used to be just me, I go to the homepage and then click and I'm there.
Oh, it still is.
Isn't that Tom?
It still is. You just have to scroll down a little bit more.
You scroll down and then you click on FMGC, then when it comes to the presentations, you click on the presentations, it goes, oh, that's now on the old site.
Well,
And,
yeah.
I'm just saying, it's just harder for that.
Okay.
Besides, I knew it was gonna be that way, I mean,
Okay.
it's
It's
not that
intro,
hard,
it is difficult.
because we're like, you know, the 0.001% of people that want to look at that. I get it,
Fair enough. Yeah. So maybe in January, or reaching out to David Blockspector again, have him back, or Dave Parker, or somebody along those lines.
I say someone who is not susceptible to weather emergencies. We don't want an operations person scheduled for.
Oh, yeah, and none of them are. To my knowledge, they're entirely, well, you know, David's both Davids are in customer
Yeah.
data and
Let's say
fulfillment.
it's too warning, snowy weather.
I hope so.
Yeah.
That might be new business. I have one more if I remember.
I think it's scheduled for 18. Did you get, clearly you didn't print it out, but did you get it, the schedule?
The schedule for 2018?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it. I do have it, but I did not print it out.
Okay, current, any reason?
Just some of mine.
Okay, so,
Between you, me, and Trish, or well, between some combination of us, I'd like to make another push to get the dates into the MBTA public meeting calendar. That's something we haven't had this calendar year. We haven't had these meetings listed in the official MBTA public meetings calendar on the MBTA.com site since December 2016. And I think it's maybe just be a lack of knowing who's the right person that manages the official MBTA.com meeting list, but we'll cover that.
I'll talk to Trish about it tomorrow morning.
All right, that's important. You see Trish in person, I keep forgetting that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you would. I mean,
No problem.
I'd be happy to talk to the right person who runs the website. If you guys want to give me that person's contact info, or
I think there's an IT person, Trish would definitely know who it is. I'll ask her tomorrow morning about it.
yeah, whatever it is for you guys.
So for the schedule, I put up, I'll mail it to folks, it's a tentative schedule for, meetings on Tuesdays and shifting the, executive committee meeting from Mondays to Tuesdays. Craig had expressed a desire to have meetings on Monday. I talked with Craig today to find out if it was a situation where, he would be able to attend meetings, if they were on Tuesdays, or if it was just a preference thing, and he says it's pretty much what happened tonight, and it's that he has tickets, and he just has to leave early. I expressed a desire to keep it on Tuesdays because since we have moved to Tuesdays, I am now in a position to do volunteer video work for the Arlington Board of Selectmen, and not every fourth Monday they have Board of Selectmen meetings, but they do tend to gravitate towards that, and I'm finding it handy, to have more exposure to them. I am just more on top of what's going on in Arlington, and they know me more, and it's partly because of our familiarity with each other that I was able to get them to do this forum on AVs. And so there we are. So neither of us are willing, to say, the other one should get what they want. So it's really going to be up to everyone else to determine, whether they prefer, Mondays or Tuesdays. When making up the schedule, I didn't see any greater conflict with holidays. In fact, there's no conflict with holidays anymore, except for December. That's the only month that it's really bad, whether it's a Monday or a Tuesday. One of the other reasons that we suggested we switch to Tuesdays was to give us a chance to get FFPC people here for our meetings. And I have to say, it's just been lack of trying on my part, that we haven't tried to get one of them
Well, relative to the FMCB meetings, which are on Monday, I I find it handy that we're now holding this meeting on Tuesday simply so that we can review what's come out of the FOCB. Even if we don't have access to one of them, it's still nice to be able to see what they've done and digest it for 24 hours, and then here we are, case in point.
Yeah.
Segue.
From yesterday's meeting in the slides that they posted, they are looking to hire a chief customer experience officer, a senior level position charged with working across all departments. A successful candidate will be a regular rider of MBTA system, they say.
Right. Well, I think we should insist on that person attending these meetings.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the subcommittee meetings. I actually would prefer that they not attend the subcommittee meetings, because that's where, we get, some off the record material, and people may be reticent to share that material with them, but I think having them here would be a good thing, so, but, be careful to ask for it, maybe, you know what I mean? So like, sometimes, see, before we insist, we should see who they are.
Yeah, and for the benefit of people who haven't been on the rock that long, or who may have forgotten, we used to have at this committee meeting regular attendance from pretty high level people from bus operations, rail operations, subway ops. I mean, we had easily half a dozen of the senior level MBTA agency management at this meeting every month, and that was not only leading to a lot of fruitful discussions, but also built a lot of I would say camaraderie.
Well, I'm not agreeing. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so there was some value I felt,
Yeah.
and the pendulum has swung all the way to the other way, and we have. Don't get me wrong, Kyle. Thank you. You're vital, and I'm glad you're here. But having some more people from MBTA on a regular basis, I think starting with the chief customer experience officer. Is that
Yes.
Yeah, I think that person's going to be a very limited value. So really, my take on what happened with the MBTA people is like when this group was initially created, it was 8 advocacy groups, 8 public members, 4 alternates, and 8 people from the MBTA. They were underutilized at those meetings. It might have been nice to have them here, before their level. They were really underutilized meetings. So essentially, they said, we will come to any meeting that you invite us to, but don't expect us to be here at a meeting where we're not really doing much. And then when there's an issue with the state ethics committee, and after the group started acting up, we rewrote the bylaws, factoring them out, because they had kind of us this model of, we'll be available when you want us to be available. And I find that of great utility, and given the position, I think it's very reasonable.
You're right, and I had forgotten that they were written in as 8 permanent members, even in the bylaws. That's in my mind, so thanks for that clarification.
But I don't want this. I think it's good that they're doing something like this. I think the more public representation to the MBTA, the better. Yeah, let's invite that person to our meetings.
I think the only other bit of new business was just to follow up on what I sent to the group list last week about the request for information that was put out for the electronic networked audio device. Did anybody have any particular comments on that, or should I refresh people's memory if you didn't see it?
I'm sorry.
Maybe refresh it.
Okay, yeah. About 6 or 8 months ago, we had David Block-Schechter, the CTO of the MBTA here, and he mentioned about a future plan or future hope to have a supplement to the in-station visual signs that would be an audio sign that could be more rich than just what we have in the stations now. In the stations now, we have canned recordings for critical things. We have the next train arriving in 5 minutes, or train to Alewife is now arriving. The request for information that went out, which is a very early process. It's not even a bid. It's not even really a project description. It's literally a request for information of what's out there in the market that will allow for a a small device to be put in a specified common area of the station so that someone who was, say, visually impaired could go up to it, maybe even find it by use of a Bluetooth beacon from their phone. David Blockchecker did a demonstration of this for us, where a visually impaired person could actually find through a Bluetooth beacon, sort of by sonar, where this device is. They hit a button on it or interface with it in some way, and they'd get more information audibly than you would just be able to get from the overhead speaker system. And that the spec or the interest in that RFI is that it be an online networked thing, so that particular information can be put out to a particular station, even a particular platform. So an example, if somebody who were visually impaired were to get off at Park Street on the wrong side and needed the elevator, they could go up to this gadget, hit a button, and it would say, if you need the elevator, you should wait until the next train pulls in and go through the train to the center platform. That kind of thing. That kind of thing that could be very specific. In the case of an escalator outage, elevator outage, what have you, them being, these little audio devices being networked and being programmable could be a huge benefit. Again, maybe only help with a small population, but if it can be done for a small amount of money, it would be a big bang for the buck for people who are visually impaired. That's all I have to say about that.
So then the question was?
So the question was, did anybody want me to pursue that, follow up on it? Was there any discussion that you wanted to have on it? Me just sort of regurgitating, doing the fire hose to you guys?
Excuse me, what would the pursuit entail?
I'm sort of asking you guys, what would, is there any particular interest, or we just keep an eye on it?
I mean, there'll probably be a closeout of the RFI at some point, right?
Mhm.
You know, some notification of an award to the company.
Or, I mean, presumably it would be an award as much as the information that would be gathered would go into producing a project spec, which they go out to bid. So the RFI is really early on.
Yeah, so I guess we could just track it for now.
Yep.
See if anybody's anything.
Sounds good.
Yeah, do you know when the requests are due in?
It was a pretty short time frame. I think it was maybe less than a month that was the scope of this RFI. I don't know if that's just because
It just went out, so it's September, October.
Yeah.
So we could assess things by November, maybe have David come to talk with us December, January,
Mhm.
that we want the topics.
Yep.
That's all I have.
There we go.
So any more thoughts about whether we have the meetings on Mondays or Tuesdays?
I'm thinking Tuesday better.
I'd vote for Tuesday.
I don't really have a preference either way. I do like the argument about the FMCD for Tuesday, but either works for me personally.
Sorry, other terms?
My contract says I'm here whenever you want me.
All that makes me feel so loud.
Well, we should meet Saturday night at 8 o'clock in the bar.
That's where it is, I'll be there.
Yeah, I just think coming back from the weekend, usually we're trying to play a little bit catch up on Mondays.
Yeah.
And then Tuesday's a good day before the week is out of control, so
Yeah.
it provides I feel like more time for us to all be present.
Yeah,
Well said.
yeah, but that's kind of my feelings too, yeah.
Before we get short on time and go to public comment, well,
Yes.
anyone heard from Karen? Is she all right? I mean, I admit I haven't emailed her or reached out, but I think I will, because I'm a little concerned now. I don't think I've seen Karen in 2 months. Anybody else?
Was she at our last, I don't think she was at our last MCOP.
Yeah. And I know she wasn't there in August at the subcommittee either. I'll drop her an email, make sure she's all right.
Well, thanks, Carl. You just sent me the MassDOT page for the North-South Rail Link. So there is a MassDOT project page for it.
Cool.
Oh, nice.
Please.
I'll be sure the folks.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So you get material for the wheel.
Yeah, and stuff like that, we should also make sure we get onto our website as links to stuff.
Oh, that's a good point. So I can forward this to James. James is doing a good job keeping up. Oh, that is one of the kind of new business thing. That is, I brought it up in an executive committee meeting, and that is whether we can do some adjustment in the bylaws, because James is asked to take the leave of absence because personal issues, but he is still maintaining our website and doing stuff, online for us, and so I kind of feel that in a sense, he's doing what he can, he's participating, he's reading stuff, so it seems that it would be nice to leave him the headroom of having to take a leave of absence for another situation, like, those illness, or something, as opposed to this where he's really doing something for the group. But I'm not quite sure how to formulate that, as a addition to change the bylaws. So if folks are in agreement with that, we can work on that. If you feel the status quo is fine, and it's meant to deal with this kind of situation, I hear that too. Just want to put that out there for a preliminary discussion. And since we're running out of time, we can just take that up in the meeting.
Sounds good. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, so I think it's time for our public comment period, so.
Yeah. Who wants to speak? This way I have to speak to it. Okay. And Barry, you want to?
Yes.
Okay. So go ahead.
Who wants to answer? Sure. So I'm Carl Sept, I'm Boston resident. Three main things I wanted to talk about. The first is at the last few FMCB meetings, I've been speaking about how important I think it is for the FMCB to put at least as much attention on bus operations day to day as they put on commuter rail operations day to day. Since buses carry 3 times as many people as commuter rail, and much larger fractions of equity in EJ populations. In the summer, Steve Poftak was acting GM, he said that they would start a week by week, we'll go into some more detail about each of the lines, bus, commuter rail, as a way to address the different things going on in each of the lines. They've done 2 of those. They did red line last week, green line this week. Chairman Aiello said actually back off on schedule. When I asked Jeff Gonville about it, he said it'd probably be a month and a half before they got to buses. So I asked him personally, please do buses sooner, because they've never been, day-to-day bus operations, as far as I can tell, has never been addressed by FMCB. They've addressed maintenance facilities and bus procurement and bus overhauls and those things, but not the day-to-day. How do they deal with bus bunching and drop trips and like all that sort of bread and butter stuff. And also to start the bus service planning process. My understanding is that should have started by now, but as far as I can tell, it's not. Like, there may be things going on, but from a public perspective, nothing's happening. So I'd also go as far as asking you as the RUC to say, hey, FMCB, please put as much attention into bus operations as you do with the other lines, and start the service planning process and the public process part of it. And ask the operations committee meetings that you guys do to spend as much time on buses as any other line, since they serve
Yes.
as many people as.
I think we can say comfortably, we have done that historically.
Yes, I haven't heard, like today, we updates, I didn't hear anything about buses.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about the Winthrop line, but that was more from a private operator sense. Yeah, our meetings tend to either straight commuter rail, straight bus, and then a little bit of subway, so.
For AFC2, I'm glad David's been giving a couple updates in the last couple of months. I'm still concerned about public involvement in the early phases of that, and openness and accountability. The RFP, I put in a public records request, and that request was declined for reasons that I don't understand or buy. The other thing related to public records rights request, and that seemed like a possible avenue to get the data backing FMCD presentations. The office was responsive. Like they said, we got the request, and they gave me part of what I asked for, but not the RFP.
I'm sorry, the reason for that was? That they didn't do?
I'll tell you separately. It's
Okay.
longer, or I can talk to you more.
Sure.
I can forward you the denial letter.
Yeah.
I would love to do that.
Last thing was about Title VI. The FMCD approved the Title VI, I guess it's report and plan, but the person who was presenting it got chastised for presenting a huge report like a week before it was due for the FMCD to review it. And so I think that also means there wasn't any public comment on the draft of the plan. I guess
the
there's
Title VI?
The MBTA's Title VI 3-year triennial report and plan.
Do you remember?
I thought there was a big.
I mean, there last year and the year before, there have been public, as far as I understand, there have been public involvement in drafting a plan, but the thing that's been drafted and approved, when I asked for it a couple of months ago, they said there's nothing to provide.
Well, we sent a letter on drafts, so there was a comment period for it.
For the
letter,
for the MBTA or the MPO?
Oh, I didn't know.
The MPO
Yeah.
had made drafts available, but for the MBTA.
Sorry.
That bothers me.
Yeah.
And it bothered the
Yeah.
chairman and other people on the staff, or on the board for their comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Barry? You don't have to be on camera, so it doesn't really matter where you stand unless you want to be on camera, then stand over there.
Barry Steinberg, Association for Public Transportation. I've noticed the bus route I take runs in the middle of the day, runs every 45 minutes. It was about a week ago, the next bus passed the previous bus. And I was talking with a bus driver today, and he's a part-timer, and he ends up often telling his other employer from between halves that he's going to be a half hour late because he was delayed along the route. And this is not an unusual thing happening. Now, my question is, on all the buses, they have GPS and they know where all the buses are and everything. And, well, for example, Sunday, mid-route, for no apparent reason, there was a traffic jam on a local street for 5 minutes. I mean, this is an ordinary occurrence. Now, to what extent are they actually using the information they have to adjust the schedules? Now, I'm a little torn in my motivations about asking this question because their usual result is when they give the operator more time, that ends up cutting a lot of my service. I don't have an answer. My answer would be to add a bus to the route and give the drivers more time. But I know they're not going to do that. So I have no canned answer to this. But when this sort of thing happens every day, or when on a Sunday they have buses chasing themselves around because they can't make the time.
Tell us again for the subcommittee work, what route?
215, and the Sunday 240 and 238,
Okay.
which are hooked together.
Okay. Is it just Sundays? Primarily Sundays?
On the 240, it's it's a problem on Sundays.
Okay.
Now, those run at every hour and 10 minutes.
Mhm.
So you're not gonna, you can't play around with it too much.
Right.
But on a weekday, my route is the 215.
Okay.
I'm sure that this is not the only route in the entire system where they have this problem.
Right.
I'm
Guys, you have
sure.
those numbers we can talk about next month?
Yep.
Great. We'll get to, we'll cover it for you and hopefully we can get back to you about it
Thank you.
specifically.
Interviews on Thursday,
Yep.
last week was very good.
Yep.
Really candidates, yeah.
Very good candidate.
Okay, great.
Motion to conclude the meeting.
Motion.
Second? Good. Second?
Second.
Second, thank you. And we are adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone. I personally appreciate it.
Go out to that insufferable 8-degree heat, I don't know how I'm gonna get to teach that one of these.